Hi, welcome to my sewing room. I'm Anne Whalley. Today we're going to talk to a sewist from New York City who is a fitting expert, does amazing patterns for McCall's, and has a business that she's going to tell us all about. Welcome to Melissa Watson Ellis. How are you from New York City? What's happening over there in Sewing Land, the head of everything in New York City?
Oh man. Well, as you know, everything's pretty much closed right now. Things are slowly opening, but it is, just a few people in the stores. It's pretty weird on the streets over here,
It's
unfortunately.
we're in a very severe lockdown at the moment too, so it's even worse here as far as curfew at 8 p.m. Don't go outside. It's intense. If I didn't have a sewing machine, I don't know what I'd do.
I know, I know. I'm very fortunate to have a studio where I work. Because I'm the only one working in that office, I can go from my home to my studio, and that's okay. But I'm one of the few. Most other people are just working from home. Just they only have, their apartment to be in, and most
Look,
of us live in apartments. So
it's
yeah.
such a strange time. Anyway, it's lovely to have you in my
Thank
sewing
you.
room. Lovely to be in your home. I just love that we can connect. And I really am so blown away by what you do. And I have put a little introduction earlier, but I wanted you to know that I think what you do, your passion, is very exciting. So share with the people who sew, what is your little niche that you just thought, this is who I am and I'm going to do it? Because you do a lot of things. You've got patterns, you've been a fit expert, but you're doing something more with something that you are uniquely amazing at. So tell me about that.
Wait, are you talking specifically about sewing patterns, or are you talking about my other career,
I,
my whole career,
the the whole
the
career.
whole thing?
The
Okay.
I just think the more I read about you, the more I was intrigued. So we have to
I
talk
appreciate
about your Instagram accounts, your
that.
wonderful web page about what you do. And I don't think a lot of people would know. I've seen you on the McCall's patterns. I've bought most of your patterns, and I
Oh,
love the
thank
new
you.
one that's out. I really
Thanks.
love that, and I think I might even be able to. I might be able to get away with it too.
Oh,
Um,
yes, definitely,
it's your
definitely.
patterns make people look fabulous, but
Oh,
that's
thank you.
something because of what you do with this business that you do in New York. So tell
Yeah.
us about that.
So, my just to backtrack a little bit, you introduced me as Melissa Watson, but my new name, my married name is actually Melissa Watson Ellis. So
Ah,
I started a company last year. It's a bespoke tailoring company in New York City, and we make anything tailored custom for men and women. So I do custom tailored suits, blazers, overcoats, shirts, both for men and women. And it really spurred off of my background in home sewing and fitting, and learning about fitting people's bodies over these last, what, like 15 years, or I feel like, and then maybe it's a little less, maybe it's like 12 that I've been fitting. And it's just kind of grown from there, from cutting up and altering patterns and going to design school in New York City, and working in the fashion industry, but also designing patterns, and teaching classes, and helping people learn to fit themselves, has just kind of culminated in this business. And it's called Watson Ellis, and it is we're in the Chelsea sort of West Village district in New York City. And it's a by appointment only business, and you come in, and you tell me what your vision is, and I work with you to create something that you either need for an event or for work, or you are just passionate about having something fit your body.
wow.
I don't know
And
if is that okay?
that is fantastic. And I love the fact that you have pictures of the suits and the people in the suits, and they're knockouts. They look
Thank you.
like they're meant to look. It's not annoying there's nothing worse than looking at someone who is in an ill-fitting suit, because the suit means it has to suit them and their body, doesn't it?
Totally, absolutely, absolutely. And there's so many telltale signs of ill-fitting suits. And I had a female client come in the other day, and she said, "You were one of the only female custom suit makers that I could find that actually looked like you made clothes for women, not a male tailor making something that he would envision a woman to wear." But so that was really, I really loved that. I loved hearing that.
I think that comes from the fact that when people wear something that fits them perfectly, they feel comfortable in it. They feel like they've got something that is quite unique. And to feel that good in something resonates with confidence, with the ability just to forget about what you're wearing and just be who you are. And that is something that isn't quite average when you think about it. So it's such an amazing path that you've funneled into, still doing everything else, of course, but this particular part of your career right now is absolutely, it's blown me away. And I think every time I've just become a bit of a latecomer to the series Suits, and you know that's been around for years, but because we're a little bit more staying at home, I've been watching it, and every time I've been, you know, binge watching it, I'll have to admit, but every time I think of Suits, I always think about you now, and it's like you've got that in my head, and I'm looking at people in these outfits and I'm thinking, now what would Melissa think about that suit? Would she be impressed with that one, or would she think it needs to come in? You've got a bit of an eye for detail, haven't you?
I mean, I love detail. It's really, just to digress a little bit, it's really funny that you mentioned Suits specifically, because not only do my husband and I watch a lot of movies and shows, and we always, you know, break down the suits in shows, but as well, my husband is a musician, and one of his first songs is the beginning song in, like, I think the second season of Suits. So it's like the opening song.
What
so
is
it's really funny that, and he's
what
Australian as well.
What is, oh my gosh. So what is this, the song that is the opening of that?
I think it's called Want for Anything, and it's Ernest Ellis is his band name.
Well, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just going to have to go back to season 2, which won't be a real hassle for me, because I have to say it has me absolutely captured. And also looking at the clothing too, the designer clothes are just wonderful. I'm really, it's eye candy really for a sewing person, you know. I'm just thrilled about that. So wow, so I did look and see that you did get married in Australia. So where did you get married in Australia?
We got married in Port Macquarie. So it's a small beach town 4 hours north of Sydney.
Well, I'm from Melbourne, and I have been to Port Macquarie, and it's beautiful. So I did notice that, but it didn't say exactly where you got married, and I thought, oh, I must find out. Well, that's lovely to have that connection to Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's funny because last night he was on a radio interview with Triple J.
Oh,
I think it was.
Yes.
And so it's awesome to be talking to you tonight. We're just talking to Australia every night.
Oh my, I'm really thrilled that he is doing so well, and I am thrilled to be able to say that I can easily find out what else he sings, because I think he has an Instagram account too, doesn't he? With it's all connected, and I love how you're a cheer squad. Now you have a famous mother, which I did not know. So tell
you didn't?
Me, no, I didn't, but I found out like a few months ago, and I'm thinking, you are kidding me. So tell me, who is your famous mother?
Oh my God. Well, she's much more famous than I am. She's amazing. So I kind of like describe her to novice, to people not in the sewing industry, as the Martha Stewart of the sewing industry. She's past her 40-year career in the industry. She was one of the first, she was the first independent person to be signed with a pattern company. So she was first signed with Vogue, and then she left Vogue and went and signed with McCall's. So she was kind of like led that trailblazing, you know, for pattern companies to invite teachers to come and design patterns for them, because first and foremost, she's an educator and she's a publisher, and she publishes books about sewing, all types of sewing, and then primarily as well about fit, and specifically, you know, the books go into general fit, and then they also go into fitting pants, fitting jackets, fitting dresses and bustiers and everything. And she uses a method called tissue fitting, which is what I use as well when I fit sewing patterns.
Wow. I've met your mother when I was over in Puyallup, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just dropped in just to say hello. We had a little drink and a little chat, and it's
Lovely.
just that it's a special language, the sewing language. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are, that you can talk on a level that is wonderful, because it is such a lovely, it's kind of not written down as a language, but maybe it should be. But it's where creative people need to go, because if they can't be creative and do something that can change what they can focus on, then
For sure.
I think being around people who actually get that, I'm sure we're all creative in our own way, but when we're creative with fabric and material and patterns, it's just like going to Mars, really, and having a lovely holiday in your own head, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I think that's definitely one of the things that was able to set me apart within this industry in New York, within the custom suiting industry, is that I am a sewer and I know how garments go together. And I have experience fitting, where a lot of these new companies that are, you know, really high tech, and they do these body scanners, and they, you know, they have all of these salespeople. They don't really focus that much on fit. So I really do feel that being able to sew and knowing how a garment is constructed allows me to be, you know, miles ahead of a lot of things that are going on in this industry. So I'm so grateful, you know, to have grown up knowing this. And of course, I will never not see the shadow of my mother, but because she's an immense human. But she has really guided me, but also let me grow into, you know, my own career, my own creative way.
And that's a cheer squad, isn't it? Built-in cheer squad, supporting each other. And I think that is something that, you know, you do hear about some, you know, in Hollywood, there's that threatening bit where the daughter comes up, could be a threat to their career if they're actors or whatever. And you just think, oh, it's really not like that with sewing. You're thrilled that you can not only encourage someone to do something that you love, but to give them the tips and the background behind what you would have picked up over the years has been just given you that chance to see more and do a different thing to what your mother does, which would also share the love, because there's nothing nicer than having something that feels good on, and there's a reason why it feels good, because you know why. You've worked it out. You know that the fabric moves a certain way. Things can look good, but that doesn't mean they feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I try, and especially for my pattern line. My pattern line is Melissa Watson for Palmer Pletch, and the reason it is connected with Palmer Pletch in that way is because I do write and put alteration lines on the tissue, and give people instructions on how to make alterations that will fit their body. But in addition, telling them also how to try on the tissue, and like what you're saying, be able to, you're not going to get it the first time. You're never going to get it the first time. But once you practice and once you wear clothes and have experience wearing clothes, you will feel what doesn't feel right, and then be able to fix it for next time. And it's just that education, that constant education, and the guides, the pattern guide sheets, they're not very long. We don't get a lot of space, so I just put the most important alterations for that design in there. But a book that the Fit for Real People book, which is the Palmer Pletch Guide to Fitting, is the new iteration of that book, and I helped my mom completely revamp it. And we has everything in it that would have every sort of fit issue and how to fix it.
And it's just so handy to be able to have a book that you can sit down and you can look at it, try it, and keep going. There's so many different ways of getting something to fit you. And I love the fact that you can pick up something from everyone. I just love that you go, oh my gosh, I know what that's about. You might not get the other bit, like it takes a while to get into that zone. But when you're in it, just for people that think, oh, well, I have this shoulder that's like a little bit turned, so I need to do this for only one side of my body, but that one's fine. To know that your body's not a mirror image of itself too is so, it's just like it blows you away. You think, I was told once I was symmetrical by Susan Kelgi, and I thought, I think I'm going to have a heart attack here, because you know, that's an easy thing to do. But depending on the type of career that you have, it's what your body ends up being. So if you are someone who does a lot of computer work, usually one shoulder's a little bit higher and your head's a little bit forward, and then you've got clothes that need to be adjusted. So.
Absolutely. And nobody is perfectly off the rack. You know, it just doesn't exist. Even doesn't matter how fit you are. It doesn't matter. I always see, especially in fitting suits, because it's very apparent, like you said earlier, when something is not looking right, when something's not fitting right. I always see shoulder height differences and shoulder slope differences, and you know, usually people have one side of their body that's more developed than the other, and I always, you know, I would take one side in less than I would take the other. It goes down to the nitty gritty. Like it's truly a bespoke process.
And it feels better, because you know, I've got friends who have said, you know, this pattern doesn't work, I've done something wrong. I said, no, your body, I'm looking at you, I can see that your shoulder's a little bit higher on the right side. You just need to turn it inside out and have a little play with it, you know, just to realize the expectation is always, I will make this pattern and it will fit me perfectly. And the amount of disappointment that might be going on in a few sewing rooms must be quite loud. But I always expect it not to fit me. Sway back, I've got all of those little bits and pieces that I actually like about myself. I'm not worried about it, but I have to take it into account, because I will look like I'm a great big cardboard box and I'm just walking around with no shape. So shape is important regardless of the size.
Absolutely. And I really do think that picking your right size is very important. You know, a lot of people don't really know how to measure themselves to start at a starting point that will give them the best results in the end. And that's something that we go over in the book and in the guide sheet as well. You don't want, you know, a lot of people would pick by their full bust, and then they would cut out a pattern where the shoulders were all hanging off and the neck is way too big. And in that case, the amount of alterations that you would have to do to get it fit properly are way more than if you just go with a little bit smaller size and do a bust adjustment and let it out in the hips a little bit. But if it fits in the upper chest and the neck area and the shoulders, makes a world of a difference in your sewing experience.
It hangs straight from the shoulders, so even just the line of your shoulder can make all the difference too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's good to try on your pattern. It's always good to, tissue fit just to see before you go through all the process of making it,
And yes, look, we want to be able to say that we've worn something as soon as possible. That's what I want to do. So I do have a large amount of fabric. So my muslin would probably be something in the real fabric, but it's not something as dear to me as what I might have done it in. And that way, at least I might get two out of it, two that I'd like.
Totally. I don't make muslins usually. I mean, I do for the suit, but when I'm sewing, I don't make muslins. I subscribe to what you're saying. I'll make something out of a less precious fabric and see how it goes, and then make it again. The second time, third time is always the best.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's nice to be able to sew something and wear it. I'm a bit of a deadline sewist, so that means if I have an occasion, well, there'll be something made for that. And it gets done. Yeah. And that's what I love, is that I could dilly and dally, but if I know I want to actually wear it, I will deliver. There have been times in my youth where I had the taxi waiting outside for the function, and I said, well, you just have to wait 30 minutes because I'm doing the very small stitches and I cannot rush it. So, good grief. But I didn't care about the function. All I really cared about was that I got the outfit organised, and that was my night. And I never remember what I said or what I did. I just remember walking in with that dress on. Oh, gosh.
Absolutely. No, it's good.
And tell me, what is your favourite type of suit that you make in your business? Like, what do you go, oh, yes, I want to do this one? Tell me about that.
It changes constantly. As the men that I work with, their style stays pretty consistent, but the women that I work with, I get a lot of, I don't just get lawyers and bankers in women. I also get creative professionals and filmmakers, people that actually have a vision for something. Like this one girl that came in last year, she's a filmmaker. She just moved to LA, and she wanted a 70s inspired suit. So we did, I'm constantly looking for different type of suit inspiration. And I look in old books, and I look, on eBay, and I look like all across the internet right now because I can't really go out to the vintage stores. But I do a curved peak lapel. So the lapel is actually curved here, and with a roped shoulder for her. And we did pleated pants, and it was out of this like flannel. But what really excites me is every new season, I'm constantly sourcing fabrics I work with like the world's best suiting mills. So I'm constantly getting new fabrics every season. And this season we've been getting these blends of really fashion forward wools blended with silks. And they're like boucle, just like loads of texture, amazing. And that, I'm a fabric nerd probably at the core of it. So the suit styling comes and goes and changes, but it's the fabric that I get really passionate about because it changes the whole look,
And you've just got to touch it. And do you find that when you meet new people and you're looking at their fabric that they might be wearing, that it's really hard to keep that hand away from touching the fabric? Do you manage to do that?
No, my job is to touch people. So it's this whole situation has been a little bit difficult, but most of the time, I will ask them before I touch, you know, their jacket or their coat or something like that.
It's not easy, is it? It's
No,
really
no,
not easy. And I've had
no.
people come up to me. I had something woven on a couple of weeks ago, and someone said, "We weave. We've noticed that your fabric looks woven. Did you weave it?" And I said, "No, but I did buy it in Portland, Oregon." And they're like, "Oh," and they said, "Oh, I'd love to touch it, but I won't." And I said, "No, really, you can, you know."
You can.
And it was so lovely because they were staring at me, and I thought, oh, you wonder, am I all right? Have I got everything together? Maybe something isn't
Yeah.
right. And then when they came up and said it was the fabric that they were looking at, I thought, oh, isn't it lovely that you can attract like people with fabric, what you do, and then you've got a little
Absolutely.
friendship happening straight away, and it's better than talking about the weather and the constant state of affairs in the country, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always a joy when someone compliments something that you made. You know, they seem so surprised usually that it's a, you know, it's you made it, your creation. So that's pretty cool. But that, yeah.
I think we've only touched the sides with you, Melissa.
Okay.
So I
Oh
think if
geez.
tell us, please, your so that we can follow what you're doing, because this new pattern that you've got out for McCall's, I love it. And
Thank
I
you.
don't even know when we're going to get it here. I might have to get one sent from America. Tell
I'll tell
me,
you the, sorry.
can you tell us your Instagram account, your just all
Sure.
the accounts that we can do a little bit more investigation and that we can keep an eye on what you're up to?
Okay. So this quickly, this new pattern is, oh, I don't think this is gonna work.
Yes, it's
Can you see
working.
that?
I
Is that
love that.
working?
That
Okay.
is
So
unbelievable. I love it.
it's what I'm calling it's 8122. Oh,
Oh,
that would be backwards on the thing.
no,
So
that's
it's
come up all
McCall's,
right.
okay. It's McCall's 8122, and it is a it's a blazer vest. So it's a blazer vest dress. So you can wear it closed, and you could wear it as a dress, a sleeveless dress, or you could wear it as a vest in the fall or winter. I think it's probably a little bit cooler where you are right now,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So you could put like a turtleneck or a long sleeve or a short sleeve shirt underneath it and just throw it on as a vest. And it has a little bit of shape, you know, in the waist, but it does definitely A out. It's a little more A-line at the bottom. And it's kind of military inspired style. It has, I used gold buttons, and I have these, the coolest part, which I love, is these side pockets. Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Is the
yes.
side pockets are faux. So they look like you'd have to unbutton the flap to get your hand in it, but the slit is actually before the flap. So it makes it easy to put your hands in and out. And then there's shaped chest pockets too to match.
It's fantastic.
That's fun.
It is
It's fun.
fantastic. So I'm looking forward to getting that one done when it comes
Oh,
here one
fun.
day. But I
I
have
know.
gold buttons already, believe it or not, and I'm sure
Oh,
I've got
so good.
fabric that will be fine for that. So it's shop
I
your
love it.
stash.
I feel like it would even be great in a linen or a linen
Mm,
cotton blend. You know, it doesn't have, this is a lightweight wool, but it doesn't have to necessarily be a wool.
it,
But
yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
stunning.
my,
It's
thank you.
stunning.
Thank
And
you.
you've also got a lovely pair of pants that that pants with the zip up the front, which is an exposed zip. You know that pattern you've done, don't you?
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
loves. I have got that cut out, and we had to do a bit of rearranging a few months ago. And do you know, I can't find where I've put those cut out pants. So that's
Oh
going to
no.
be, as soon as I find them, I'm whipping them up. They shouldn't take very long either. That's the thing.
No, no.
It's just that you've got that funky kind of a vibe going on with your patterns, and I just thought, I've got that one, I've got that one, and I've got that one,
Oh,
and they've been in that pattern stash. And now that I've been going through from woe to go, I'm pulling
yeah.
out the ones that need to be done. So stay tuned. I'll be getting them on the machine and on my body with a mask as I hit the road and hopefully get to chance
get out there,
get outside. And
I know.
I'm so thankful for you joining us today, Melissa.
Yeah.
It has been wonderful.
Oh, thank you. So I will tell you quickly my accounts, because
Yes.
it is so I have two Instagram accounts. My Melissa Watson Design, which is mostly pattern and sewing based, and then I have Watson Ellis Custom, which is a underscore between Watson Ellis and Custom, and that is all about suiting. And our website is watsonellis.com, and we are really bad at YouTube, but we do have a YouTube. So I'll have to see you on YouTube as well. I need to watch your new series. This will be awesome.
Well, we'll definitely write down in the words your accounts, and that'll help people when they look at that, they go, now what was that again? It's just so much easier to be able to go, yes, I know what that is. It's just wonderful to speak to someone who has been mentored right from birth, obviously, born with scissors in your hands after, but of course without the points. And I just think that your mum is just, she'd have to be so proud of you, because you've done such an amazing job. So wonderful to hear about your journey. I just think that is absolutely fabulous, and lovely to hear that you're married and you've got this business in New York. Keep safe and keep up what you're doing, and please don't stop doing the patterns either, because really they are so fun and funky and love it.
Yeah, I have to. I love doing the patterns, and I will get to be doing more online classes again. It's just with everything, the classes aren't happening in person, but I do miss teaching as well. Yes. So I will hope to see you. You're not in Melbourne now, are you?
Yes, I am in Melbourne.
Or you are. Well, we want to move to Melbourne, so I will let you know.
Yes.
Yes. We might move to Australia, so I'll see you there.
Yes. Look, it's a lot of people are moving out of Victoria at the moment because of the restrictions, but that would be one of the main reasons I'd stay in Victoria, because of the restrictions, because they care. Yeah. So it all depends how you feel about being restricted, but yes. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll just sew our way out of it. And so lovely to meet you face to face. I'm really excited. I'm just so excited about what you're doing, and your mum is just gorgeous, lovely, and exciting.
Thank you.
So keep up whatever you're doing. I'm watching you, and
thank you so much, Anne.
And I'll let you get to your dinner that your husband's made.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Well, the bobbin's empty. I want to encourage you to sew what you have. Take into account what you love. Use the fabrics that you have bought over the years. Look at the colour. See what suits you, so that when you sew up your garment, you will have more of a chance of loving what you wear and enjoying it. Don't forget, subscribe to my blog, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram. I'm sewing all the time, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.